Man, oh man. Reid. Unit who's really good on release day and just man oh man. They made him some garbage. What's up guys? MegaranZ95 here with another video. Coming to you with an SSR review on various units. My plan is to do an SSR review on all of the units, and go through them. My videos are going to be a little different though. I know a lot of people are going to be talking about these units at max stats, level 100, max awakening, max ascension, and max everything. And let me be 100% honest with you guys. I've dropped 100k Memoria or 100k Gleamstones so far. And I literally have one max SSR unit in Yuri. One maxed SSR in Yuri. So it's not feasible to really assume that you guys are going to, that people are going to literally get these units maxed awakened like early game. Yes, we know eventually we will get a way to exchange to get the units that we will eventually get a way to get these units to max SSR, the max awakened SSR, because we do see that there is items in there to get awakening levels to exchange for Rambo shards, but the problem is right now that you can't exchange for that. And so when I do these videos, I'm literally going to talk about them at 0 awakening, because you're not guaranteed, and that's really what we need to talk about as a player base to know if a unit's really worth it or not. So Reid has 25,900 attack, 3,400 or 25,900 HP, 3,400 attack, 2,210 defense at max awakening. I unfortunately don't have his stats at here you go. At non-max awakening, he has 14,600 HP, 1,900 attack, and 1,200 defense. Thank you, Tales of Crestoria wiki page. So Reid has the 5th highest attack in the game, which isn't really bad because, again, 5th highest attack, he's tied, is really, really good, but that's literally where his goodness stops. And it's disappointing because in original beta, he recovered HP when he caused break, if I remember correctly. So they clearly nerfed him that. They took that skill entirely out of the game. But Reid as a whole, he's not a great unit. 4-turn and 5-turn cooldowns with 200% attack 3 hits and 230% 4 hits with a 30% chance to burn on for 3 turns is really not that good. High art cost with low hit count generation is just not good. And again, damage percentage wise, he does not do so much damage. But again, he's just really mid tier at best. His awakening skill, we'll talk about, of course, is 10% attack to fire allies and 20% to the overlimit gauge of fire allies when enemy breaks. The plus 20 when breaks is really only going to matter in certain raids, and it really isn't that great, and I'll get into why it's not that great in a second. The 10% attack to fire allies is alright, because most of the units that I've noticed, a lot of them have the plus 10% attack when you do X amount of hits, and so a flat boost isn't good. But here's the thing about the 20 overlimit, and this is also why I'm going to talk about why Reid is bad. Stan has 180 overlimit cost. Luke has 160. And Misela has a 170. So that means all 3 of them in advantage content have a 3-turn Mystic Art. And his plus 20 is really not going to help them get a 2-turn Mystic without investment in a certain way. So that's why it's not as good. But that also speaks to why Reid is not that good. His overlimit, his Mystic Art is Burning Phoenix. At max is 380% damage with 11 hits, but at the low levels is 276% with 10 hit. At level 0, so with nothing fed into him, and a 240 overlimit cost. Now, a 240 overlimit cost is really, really bad. Like, really bad. Because you get in advantage content, and advantage content means like if he's fire, so if he's fighting Earth, he gets 60 per turn. With a crit, he gets 10 more, which is 70. 70 times 3 is 210. So that means even if he got a crit every turn in advantage content, he doesn't get his Mystic. Which is really bad when you're in a world of units who pretty much all get 3-turn Mystics, or they're Velvet and they hit like a truck. Even when you max ascend him to level 100 and you unlock his Ascension board, he only has his Ascension board only covers a +2 overlimit. So even again, with advantage and crits, he's 72 times 3, which is 216. He's still not close. And so he doesn't get a 3-turn Mystic without proper investment. And that makes him not as good. It makes him mid-tier at best, if not very low tier. Because it's really important that you get those 3-turn Mystics. Because you can kind of predict, if I remember correctly, the break in raids occurs on the super attack on raids occurs in turn 2 and turn 8. But I think it changes for raid. But essentially, if you are by yourself running raid solo, you can hit Mystics consistently with turn 2 and turn 3. So you would essentially get Mystics every turn. With him having a 4-turn overlimit, he's on off turns because 2-8, I guess it's like 2-8, 2-8. I never have raids last significantly long enough to know that. And again, you also can't control that, so it sucks. But that's what makes him mid tier. Now, his Memoria is not really that great either. Because his Memoria has really good stats, but it's Assault 6 fire, it gives 40. Now at max it gives 80, but at base it gives 40 over limit start at the start of the turn. Remember what I said earlier? All the fire units have 3-turn Mystics, so none of them need it. So right now, his Memoria doesn't do a lot for anybody. His Memoria doesn't even give him a 3-turn Mystic, unless you get a crit every turn. And so he maybe speeds them up to 2-turn Mystics. Luke, he gives a guaranteed 2-turn Mystic, but Luke doesn't need that. And Misilla, he gives a 2-turn Mystic if she gets a crit, and Ston if he gets 2 crits. Which, again, isn't that great. So congratulations, Reid, because yours is one of the few Memorias that if you're somebody who isn't like me, and let me be clear, I recommend you keep every single Memoria that's an SSR. Keep 1 copy of it, because you never know when you're going to need that for some content or some character comes out that's that. But if you're not like that, if you're not like me like that, you can actually feed him in and get him to that level 1 awakening so that at least he has somewhat better stats. But nonetheless, his Memoria right now doesn't do a whole lot for anybody. So, however, if we want to talk about that, so like I said, as a character, he's alright. His Memoria, not fantastic. And that leads us to other Memoria. So, if you want to equip Memoria on him, the best Memoria for him, literally, is Ston. Ston gives him 8% crit at level 1, so 50, level 1 of 6, and 16% crit at that. But again, it's not feasible for you to pull Ston when you are playing that you're going to pull that. Because more than likely, if you pull Ston, again, you're going to pull 11 You would need 5 to awaken him and 5 to max out the Memoria. So you would need to pull 10, which most people aren't. But again, he has the best stats. So to me, the next best one, the best one to give him from a reasonable, feasible option would be to give him Alvin. Alvin gives him 1500 attack, and if a Memoria matches element, is times 1.5. So Alvin max out gives him 2000 attack, and he gives him 15% crit. You are going to more than likely max out Alvin because Alvin is a raid Memoria, raid SSR. I know raids, people say raids, oh my god, I never get an SSR drop. But remember, you can exchange medals to get the raid Memoria. So eventually, you will get a maxed out Alvin. So he would be the best one for him. But if you still are on the fence about that, the next best fire Memoria to give him would be Gaius, the SR Gaius Memoria. And I can tell you it's feasible to max out SR Gaius because I have a max awakened SR Gaius, basically, or borderline max awakened. He's not there yet, but I could feed in and awaken him. And my Memoria is at that. So, yeah. Gaius gives 8% sword crit at the start, so the same boost as Stan, but at max it gives 15%. So he would be the best one if you don't have a Stan, if you don't have an Alvin, and you don't have the ability to grind, and you want the Memoria to match elemental wise. If you're not tripping about that, the next three best Memoria that you can give him are unfortunately all SSRs, but they're not good. You can give him Saray because Saray gives 75% crit damage to sword allies at base level. Luke because he gives 30% break to swords. Or Asbel because he gives 10% crit to swords. So he increases the crit rate so that they can hit hard. Honorable mention goes to the Kratos Memoria. Kratos is an R Memoria, the Kratos R Memoria, not the SSR, because he gives over limit gauge of 15 per turn to swords. I know he doesn't match element wise, but technically with him, if you would get 75 over limit per turn in advanced content, which is 225, which puts Reid at literally 2 crits away from getting it. However, if you factor in his Ascension board and you decide to invest in his Ascension board, then his Ascension board of 2 would give him 77 times 3, which is 231. And so he's literally 1 crit away from 3 turn Mystics. And I'm sure we're going to get Memoria eventually characters who boost the crit rate of everybody, not to mention you technically have, if you break somebody, you get a guaranteed crit. So it's definitely worth it. He gets an honorable mention, of course, because that Memoria is good. I would not give him any Mystic ones because, again, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to get that. So, ranking-wise, where does this put Reid? Well, if I was to put him ranking-wise, I'm going to put him at B tier because B being the low to mid tier. SS is going to be the top tier. S is going to be like the great units, but not the absolute kings of the castle, kings and queens of the castle, because let's be real, there are some queens of the castle. A is going to be your mid tier, like literal mid tier. B is going to be your lower tier, but not that. And C is going to be the bottom. So Reid, right now, of course, if we ranked him out of all the SSRs that I've done videos for, he gets ranked number 1. However, he's literally going to keep this rank for less than 2 or 3 days whenever I make the next video, because he's not that great. He had such potential and they just nerfed him so badly. So I just don't understand why they nerfed him. But let me know if you guys have pulled Reid, what things you are doing that make your Reid better, what things you've noticed about Reid, what your issues are with Reid. Because unlike most of you, apparently, I have literally not pulled Reid. He is one of the 5 SSRs I have not pulled yet. But that's all for the video, because I've hit the 15 minutes. This is Mega Man Z95 signing out.